Okay, so I just want to start out by saying that even though this video is probably going to be labeled something about building wolverine claws or something equally, stupid, I actually don't really like superheroes. I find them kind of overrated and just a big, corporate money grab anymore. I mean, I liked them back when I was like 13, but, not really so much anymore. So, you're wondering why they're labeled Wolverine claws? Well, that's because no one would probably click on them if I didn't label them that. So, I actually got the idea from Borderlands, actually. I was looking at some stuff from one of their characters from the second game, and she makes an appearance in the third game like they usually do. The Gage. I was looking at her for a different project. But if you upgrade one of her one of her skill trees, she gets like these like energy claws, which are really cool. And then I remember oh yeah, that should be kind of a cool project. Unfortunately, I'm bound by the laws of reality and can't exactly make energy claws. So I'm making them out of steel. And more specifically, these are the ends of a chunk of leaf spring. This is like the center piece, like the very bottom piece, so they're only basically the width of these two. I just cut off the end with a bolt. My basic plan is I'm going to stretch these out, thin them out, of course, because they're stupid thick. Hopefully there's enough steel here where one of them I can make into two different claws. But then I'm basically going to have them set to where if I hold it in my fist, they'll be about level with my knuckles, but a part that comes down is something that wraps around into my hand. And then I'm going to make some sort of kind of gauntlet to go around with it. Not going to be solid steel, but, enough there to actually, reinforce it and not put all the pressure on my bones. Because I actually want this to be an actual weapon and not just kind of a slightly more dangerous movie prop like a lot of them seem to be. So I'm going to throw these in the forge and make some claws out of these. So, after not really a lot of work, but a lot of time because I've been working on other things too, long story, I kind of have this part already ground out, which I'm going to film on these. Basically, I just ground it until I could fit my fingers into it. However, if you can kind of tell the thing, it digs into my knuckle a little bit. So I ground it open a little more, and what I'm going to do is when I get done grinding these, I'm going to put them in the forge, make this go down a little bit more and then over, because I definitely want to be able to hold in my hand and have enough space where I have steel plate over them. Again, make it a gauntlet, not just weird knuckle things. Because honestly, if you like push this into something, that's right into your knuckles, and that's gonna be very uncomfortable. And I'm not gonna say this is gonna be like some massive serious weapon, because honestly, a single blade would probably be a lot more effective than this. But still gonna do that. I'll probably, once I get them all ground, I'll drill a hole, throw them to put my threaded rod, which I don't have out here, and then grind them all to where they have the same shaped blade. Okay, so I have them all got a hole drilled. I was thinking with like a 5/16 because it seemed a little beefier than quarter, but now that I'm looking at it, I think I might just go quarter because that's a 1/4 inch bolt in it, and it seemed to hold up pretty well. So don't mind the mess behind it. I basically put the hole in them so I can put them all together and grind them all to about the same shape. Mostly just the tips here, they're actually relatively close. And just by some coincidence, all those holes, which you really can't see very well because the lighting in my shop is terrible, are all basically the same shape. A few minor differences, but not terrible. So I also kind of changed plans. I might still do this a little bit, I don't know yet. I was going to do like a full gauntlet, but I think I'm just going to kind of make the claws and maybe just reinforce a hard knuckle glove. I was doing that and actually just stabbing them in just as is into a tree. And that actually worked pretty well, so I think I'm just going to do that instead. Oh wow, my camera does not want to focus. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of grind these to shape. Of course, you know, put some edges on them because these are going to be sharp. And just go from there. Still don't know about the gauntlet, but this was kind of one of those projects I was really wanted to do when I started, but as time went on, I just kind of got bored with it. Even though I barely worked on them because I've had so much other stuff so much stuff going on, I haven't really been able to work on them much. But yeah, either way, I'm still gonna have a pair of claws because claws are still pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Please ignore everything on my workbench. I am inside at the moment because it's kind of chilly out. But, you know, I want to get these claws done by tomorrow so I can do the rest of the filming. So they're over here. Got them all heat treated and tempered. I was going to go and sand all these out, but I kind of like just the plain black look of them, so I'm going to leave them. They're not overly sharp, but honestly, they're not going to, you know, be a very serious weapon anyway because, you know, if you want a serious weapon, you have one, not three. But my basic plan to put them all together, I've seen a lot of people weld them and all that. I just got this 1/4 inch threaded rod here and 1/4 inch nuts. I had to get the higher quality ones because the hardware store was out of the ones I usually buy. Just the regular zinc plated. It's kind of annoying, but hey, where I live, you take what you can get. So my basic strategy is to put one nut on, screw it down a little ways, set a blade on top, which looks like it's going to be a little more difficult than I anticipated. Doling drill bits and all that. Maybe. Don't do it this way at home, kids. This is probably a bad idea. Oh, now it's going to go. And there we are. Took longer than I wanted it to, but what doesn't? And take a second one. Flip that around so you're not running your hand along a blade. Because even though these aren't razor sharp, they are still sharp. And we all know I don't want to set a bad example. Oh wait, I do it all the time. Ignore that I said that. Basically do that, then just kind of tighten it in place. This would help if I had something on the other side, which I don't at the moment. But basically you get the idea. Do that, put on your second one. Probably separate them a little bit, of course. Put on your next blade. Hey, that one actually went. And another bolt. Okay, and now they're on there. I can kind of adjust them depending. It'd be a lot easier if I just would have actually gotten all the tools around that I needed. Then, time number 3. There we go. And then just kind of make some adjustments from there, and then tighten them to where they don't swing independently. I'll get back to you once I have these where I want them to be set. Okay, so originally I was going to put more in between these fingers to kind of give them a little more, form to them. But since you have to wear a hard knuckle glove to where these don't, dig into your knuckles when you swing them anyway, that's actually not too bad to hold. And for no more of a, just kind of for fun weapon that this is, that should do just fine. But, yeah, make sure you line them up a little bit. That's just slightly crooked. Not too terrible, but I'll fix it here in a minute. But essentially, that's kind of it. I anticipated this to be a little more, which is why I'm just not getting to it. For a reference, I started this like 2 weeks ago. Got a bunch of commissions to do, as well as it just kind of being too cold to really be out in my shop much. So, yeah, shockingly, this has basically been sitting with only needing like 30 minutes worth of work for about 2 weeks. So, anyway, been kind of an interesting build, I suppose. So, yeah, hope to see you next time.